Hello and welcome to the Ziawo Studio Buzz podcast. My name is Doc and I am coming to you from Albuquerque in New Mexico, and this is a humble little show where I talk about all kinds of woolly fun, what I've knitted, what I've created, and what I plan to do, and what's in the works, what's on my needles, and sometimes what I spin. And I, oh yes, I want to start with the sweater that is finally finished. If you have watched the last episodes, you've seen this multiple times. And yes, I am wearing my exceptionally amazing Grinch winter snuggle pants. I did not change for you purposely because I thought I am going to give you a good laugh. I have since the last episode, I've blocked this baby, and you know how I was worried about the edge rolling up too much, but I think I think it's going to be okay. It's not, I've worn it several times, and that's why I wanted to try it out, and that's why I have not woven in the very last thread, but I think it's going to be okay. I really, really like this sweater. I think it turned out great. I yeah, I it's a warm sweater. It's made with DK weight yarn. It's the Sunshine Coast by Heidi Kermeyer, and I'm still very much in love with the pattern. Yeah. I think if I'm going to make it again, which may easily happen, I would maybe not. I mean, I like the A line. I told you that before, but in another version, I may not do as many increases as I've done for this one. And I've never really checked my gauge, my row gauge, to see if she has the same amount of increases, but I would just do less, which easy enough to do. This first one, I stuck with what she said. Yeah, I'm happy with this sweater, and it's always, you know how it is. We're always happy when we have a new sweater. Sweater, talking about sweaters, here is the other beauty that I have on the needles. And I am super happy to report that I'm done with my saguaros. What do you think? Is this not absolutely amazing? This is the Rattlesnake sweater by Jamie Hoffman. And I love this thing. Yeah. I wanted to get the saguaros done, and now I have not. Oh, cat on my feet, at my feet. And now I have not continued because I had to pick up something else which I want to finish and send off to mom to Germany. But I'm going to tell you about that in a second, but I did want to tell you a little bit more about this one. It's supposed to be made with DK yarn, and I had planned to use this beautiful yarn from a German hand dyer, which is very precious to me, but it would have been ever so slightly too light to use for this. So I thought about holding it together with this. And you can see it would be a very, very perfect match. A lace yarn, one of my lace yarns, perfectly picks up exactly that blue. But then I decided, no, I'm not going to dilute this gorgeous color. I'm going to probably make a short sleeve cardigan with it, which I love for our climate. I would knit it top down and get to the length that I want for me, and then I would use the rest of the yarn for the sleeves and just knit as long as I have yarn, because I have only 3 skeins. But So this is done. But then I thought, what am I going to use for the sweater body? And one idea was that I could use more of what I've used up here, which is this yarn, which is a Zia Wool's yarn, something that I had tested a good while ago and never brought into the shop, and or I could use what I have from these guys. I think they're in Colorado. I bought the yarn in Taos, but I have a lot more. It's an alpaca silk blend, and I'm gonna get my bags to show you what I'm talking about. Excuse me. So this is the Zia Wool's yarn that I have used for the top pink edge. And I have blue and I have a lighter pink, and the bottom is something different. But this is really definitely an option. That's a very nice yarn. And but this is a bag that's all the yarn that I got from that one company. Sorry, I'm gonna be lazy. I bought it from them in Taos, and I never, seriously, the name is so confusing. Bluebird Alpaca Ranch, I think that's where the fibers come from. But I purchased at the booth of the Enchanted Fiber Guild. That's the name. Gosh, yesterday I wanted to tell a friend, I was racking my brain and I could not remember it. But I have bought a lot of like these single skeins from them, and I think I'm gonna look into that, whether I can use those. They're not all 100% the same weight, but close enough, I think, that I could get away with it. And the next section of the sweater is where you kind of go into the next color by, it almost looks like, kind of like interlocking, like one stitch from this top color and then one stitch from the bottom color like this. And I had this idea where I thought, if I use different skeins and do stripes for the body, kind of like stripes, I could also blend these colors one into the next one by doing the same thing as is going to be coming up right now. So no decision made. I just pulled out the yarns to show you. I will have to think a little bit on that. But before I get back to the sweater, I'm gonna keep going on my Christmas socks, which are all combined in this basket. And I have these for my husband, which live in this cute fall bag from my friend Jessie. And the dyer is in Germany, Piratenwolle. And what I'm using for my kids' socks is a sports sock yarn, a Zia Wool's yarn, which is called Chama. Chama is an 8-ply cabled yarn. Excuse me. So for the kids' socks, I'm going to use my Zia Wool's, or I am using my Chama sock yarn. And the cool thing is it's an 8-ply cabled yarn, but it has no nylon. And I've used it for socks for my son, and he loves those socks. And I've just gotten feedback from Debbie just yesterday where she's like, I love this yarn for socks. It washes amazingly. I can even throw it in the dryer. And so I thought, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to be easy to take care of these things for the kids as they are in their own place. Because when I wash at home, I wash the hand knitted. I would wash these and then hang them to dry, but since Debbie said that, so I'm sure it won't matter. So these are the socks for Fiona, and I'm on the second sock. And what I've done with hers is I've used 3mm needles because, yet again, I have no proper notes. I do take good notes for large projects, but obviously not for the socks. So I started off with 3mm needles with, I always say 4 times 12. That's my kind of like normal socks is 2.5 millimeters, 4 times 16 stitches. So hers 4 times 12, and but I thought that's a little bit too small with the 3mm needles. So after the gusset, I only decreased to, so I had the 12, 2 times 12, and here I decreased only to 2 times 14 stitches. So altogether now I have 4 times 13 stitches. So let's see how they fit. I can put them on. I just don't like on my foot. They're way too stretched out, but I'm sure hers is not quite as wide as mine, even though I know she has a wide foot, but of course altogether skinnier. And for my son, I started hers earlier, obviously, as you can see. And for my son, oh, I don't think I said that. This is Candy Canes and Icicles, last year's Christmas colorway, one of last year's Christmas colorways. And I think there's one more. If you like this, I feel like there's more of this in the shop. I didn't check, but that's what it is. For my son, this could also still be in the shop. Wow. I'm going to do the foot with this. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure about this. But this was this year's graduation colorway. Yeah. In May. I think there's one more of Chama. So for him, I cast on 4 times 14 stitches right away. And here are my cryptic notes. And otherwise, when I'm done with these, and depending on how they fit, I'm also going to make some laminated cards at that I date. I have taken notes here and made a card for some other socks where I held, well, this is for like regular socks for my son, and this is for the socks where I hold normal sock yarn double. I go up 1 needle size to 3.5 millimeters, and that's where the 4 times 12 stitches comes from that I had started with, that I had used for Fiona's, not thinking that hers, that I went down a needle size. So I don't know what I was thinking. Whatever. I'm sure she will love them. So that's the socks for Christmas. And then I will also, I'm in the process, and this is what actually took up most of my time. I am making a shawl for my mom with Zia Wool's Santa Fe, which is an incredibly soft 50-50 merino silk blend, and the colorway is called Juniper. I've shown you this probably months ago. That's how long I haven't worked on it, but now I'm on it because I want to send it to her. I'm not going to see her for Christmas this year, as you all probably know. And this is growing nicely. I have just here started the new skein, so I have about as much to go as I've already done. And yeah, last time I showed it, I was here, I think. So I've really focused on this one, and the pattern is called Damien. And if you go to my Ravelry page, first of all, I haven't said that in a while. I would love for you to friend me because I literally live on Ravelry in my friends' activity feed. That's where I find a lot of inspiration. And yeah, that's if I ever forget to talk about certain details, I'm usually pretty good in updating my Ravelry page, except for when it's about socks. So this is in there, except for it's missing a new actual picture of how far I am. But at least you're going to find the pattern and the designer, and you can get there from my projects. You can get to the pattern and the designer. Yep, let's see. I'm going to keep going on this guy, and hopefully she's going to get it for Christmas, if not for Christmas, for her birthday in January. Hold on one second. The cat wants to go out. I think he hears my husband in the kitchen and hopes that he's going to get a snack there. A treat. That's where that shawl was, and that's everything that I've knitted on. But there's a lot of things that that are in the works and in the, the mind knitting. I've already told you about the mind knitting for the sweater where decisions have to be made, but then I also I am sighing, not because of the knitting, but because of my hair, because people, seriously, this hair, it's so much hair. You can be like, huh? What? What's so much hair about that? Just these few inches. Yes, that's a lot of hair. And it drives me crazy when it hangs in my eyes. But then again, I have these moments where I'm like, I kind of love having hair again more than I used to have. So I don't know. We'll see where this is going. At some point, I said I'm going to chop it off when Corona is over, but who knows what's going to happen. I talk a lot when the day is long. I've also promised someone to finish the Marvelous shawl, which cost me more brain space than I had at the time. That's why I put it aside. But I do want to use that yarn. So who knows what's going to happen with the Marvelous. I may use it for a different project, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. I have something super, super fun planned for December. Actually, I should say Lauren and I have something super, super fun planned for December. But at first, I wanted to tell you, I have already recorded the German episode, and I have drawn a winner for the Song Blanket Knit Along. The story was that I had been told that the Song Blanket Knit Along never ended and that I never did a giveaway for that knit along. I told you about that last time. I promised you I'm going to make that right. I'm going to do the giveaway in the next episode, so everybody who does want to enter their Song Blanket can do that next time. Turned out all of this was wrong. So the knit along was not only for only finished blankets, but the knit along was for everybody who wanted to talk about their Song blanket in the Zia Wools group on Ravelry and show their progress, chat about colors, and just be all around merry and have fun. The knit along ended, and there had been an ending announced, and everybody who chatted in the group had been. I said I'm going to do the giveaway for the people who are active in the group, and that's what I did. And the winner, in case you wonder, even posted a picture in the thread for the Song blanket on Ravelry. So back to the drawing board. However, I promised a giveaway, which of course I do want to do. I'm not saying I don't do a giveaway. I do a giveaway and then don't do it. So I did draw another winner from that thread, drawing myself, drawing the former winner who I had said, of course, cannot win twice. But then I did announce the winner already on the German podcast, and her Ravelry handle is Domic, Domic. So she is the winner, and I'm sure she's going to get in touch with me to get her win, which is a set of minis, which is going to be a surprise. So I'm not showing them. They're in this box. Now, a similar box will also be the giveaway for another knit along, and that's going to be a knit along that will start December 1st. It's not an Advent knit along, it's going to be a knit along that's going to go until the end of the month. And I am sharing the fun. Co-host is my friend Lauren, who organized 2 years ago the Knit New Mexico retreat. And we came up with that because we both love our blankets. We both want to finish them. And so we decided, hey, let's do this. Plus, a German podcasting friend challenged me. She said, hey, December, Advent, let's do one square on our song blankets every day. So Lauren and I have extended that a little bit. So it's going to be until the end of December. And I thought yesterday, hey, maybe I can do one square on each, not just my song blanket, but also maybe on my sock memory blanket, where I have a lot of, I hadn't pulled it out in ages. It's in this fat squirrel bag. And this is how far I am. I'm using all kinds of swapped yarns. I did a lot of yarn swaps way back then and had a lot of fun with that. And this is really, yeah, I gotta get cracking on this guy. I was just shocked when I pulled it out how small my squares are compared to my mother's. I just knit so much tighter than she does. Yeah. So let's see how that goes. If that's even realistic to plan on doing one on this and one on the song blanket. I showed it last time, but this is where the song blanket lives in. And one of these squares takes me, of course, a lot longer than the other one. I'm going to do some warm-up squares before December, but also I'm still going to focus on my mom's shawl so I can send that off to her. So I have this blanket, but for funsies, I also brought my other blanket. And wouldn't that be nice to knit a square each on these two blankets, on the song and on this sock memory, but also to keep going on this guy. Oh my goodness. This is really what I love the most. If I had to pick, and that's why I call it my happy blanket, because it has all the beautiful, bright, hand-dyed colors that I love so much. It's a corner-to-corner blanket, which a long time ago I started in another crochet along, and I've turned the corner on this side, and there's a corner, of course. And these are all hand dyed yarns. So yeah, I'm pretty far along with this guy. Just gotta keep going. And sorry, this lives in another one of my bags. Yep, and this is all the knitting. I've put the hash, sorry, I'm just scared. Gotta make sure the phone hasn't stopped recording. No, it's still going good. So the last thing I wanted to tell you about is something that will be jumping on my needles probably very soon. And this is a really funny story because just recently I stumbled upon a beautiful project in my friend's activity feed, and it was for a shawl that like this one actually. And I contacted the knitter because it said no pattern, personal pattern not available. So I contacted her. I said, this is stunning. I want to make this. How can I get the pattern? And she's like, I'm the designer and it will be published shortly. It's going to be like checked for errors and whatnot. And so today when I thanked her and I said, I hope I'm not gonna miss the publication, she's like, she emailed me back and said it's published as of now. And would you believe she made that available as a free pattern? I think this is stunning and I'm looking forward to making it. I've already thought about this one using this yarn, but I actually don't think so because I have a lot of lace yarn. So I'm probably going to pick something a little more bright. I printed out just the first page so I could show you because I'm so in love with this. Now I've told you that I foolishly promised to finish the Marvelous, but I am actually very tempted to frog it, and possibly because it just requires so much brain space. I don't know if I'm ever, we're also, what are we, stressed out about this current situation and whatnot. So I don't want to overextend myself, even though I said I was going to finish it. So I don't know. And that yarn is too special to me to leave in the bag. So, but I do have other yarn. But this is something that I also discovered today. What do you think? Is this not absolutely stunning? It's a pattern which combines lace and slip stitches. And I was so blown away that I had never seen anything from this designer before. Check it out. Isn't this gorgeous? So is that the right one? Yeah. So she has a bunch of other things also and in her patterns. So I'm going to look and possibly pick this one. Slip stitches and lace, a simple lace is totally doable anytime. But 2-color brioche, I don't know. So that is that I wanted to show you. I showed you the tree peonies. And now we're coming to shop stuff if you are interested. There's one last Christmas bag that will go into the shop. I put the rectangle upwards where normally my sock bags are oriented sideways, but this is kind of more like this. I had someone show me she folds the edge over and has it sitting next to her like this. I don't know. I haven't done that, but I think that's a great idea. This is how the back looks. Sorry, with that, gotta pay attention with that lighting. Such a pretty fabric. So that's in the shop, and then I have two for the love of bees and beekeepers. This is glitter. Can you see? Oh, I love it. Didn't show you the Christmas bag also has a coordinating fabric on the inside, and this one matches this side. There's two for the bee theme, two of the bee themed ones, and then I brought one skein of towels, which is now in the shop. It's the colorway Homeboy. And when I showed you the slip stitch and lace pattern, I thought then immediately of this skein, because this is, while this is not a completely solid skein color, it's still neutral enough to work as a more solid contrasting yarn with a variegated colorway. This is also now in the shop. This is Sundancer, Zia Wool Sundancer. Sorry about the sun. Slightly speckled, just so it doesn't get too boring, and slightly variegated, very green and with turquoise undertones. And there's 3 of this in the shop. I wanted to tell you about one more thing which really touched me so much the other day. I got an email from someone who told me how much the podcast means to her and how it brightens her day. And this was in return something that touched me so much. I mean, I'm here because I love to talk about what I love. But when I get a feedback like that, I'm so, it's very touching. I mean, a lot of you send me comments, and I love that, because then I get a feel for this, for you out there, you know, which of course I don't have right now because I'm talking to the camera. But that meant so much, and it also made me aware of how nice it can be to actually be watching something that cheers you up, especially in these times. And so I was very grateful for this comment, because sometimes we get in this mood where we're like, oh yeah, I should make another podcast. I haven't done one, but should I really do one? I haven't been knitting that much, or it's kind of boring, you know. That's what I felt this time. I thought, this is really not much. It's just a few socks and a shawl that I've shown, and the sweater you've seen. It's just an extra inch, but there is so much more to this. I hope maybe, do you feel the same? But whatever, I just thought I'd talk about this a little bit. That was a lot of rambling, but I hope you understand what I mean. It was, sometimes it's hard to explain because it's so much, it comes so much from this emotional level where I'm not sure how I can bring it across. So, but hopefully you could make sense of this. I had fun showing you what I was up to. I hope you enjoyed it, and I thank you for your comments, for your thumbs up. I don't thank you for thumbs down. I'm not that good of a person, but thank you for being here with me and spending time with me. And I hope you have a good start into the Advent season, into the Christmas season, and I hope you're healthy. And until I see you again, I wish you happy knitting. Bye.